Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today we are talking all things contemporary. So I know I said in a recent video that I wasn't going to do any TBRs for the month of September and was just going to kind of read whatever I felt like, go with the flow, be a mood reader as is my nature. But I've been really in the mood for contemporary lately, and lucky for me, there is a read-a-thon happening this week called Contemporary-a-thon. This is hosted by 3 different YouTubers. I will leave all of their channels down below and their videos announcing the read-a-thon. This is the 3rd time that they have hosted this, and it's a week long. It starts tomorrow and goes until September 22nd, and it's essentially about reading a bunch of contemporary books, and I just was feeling inspired and I feel like I've been a little behind in my reading lately, so I wanted to try to catch up a little bit, and read-a-thons are a great way to do that. This read-a-thon has 7 different challenges that you can complete within the contemporary genre, and that is really fun, and I love the creativity of making read-a-thon challenges. But for me, choosing just one single book for each of the challenges hasn't worked out super well in the recent read-a-thons that I've done. So instead, I have pulled a huge stack of contemporaries that I have been meaning to check off my list, and as I go through the week, I can just sort of pick up whatever I'd like. Every challenge has at least 2 books that count for that, and all of these books have multiple that they can count for, so I'm hoping that allows me some of the flexibility to still continue going with my gut and my mood and all of that while helping me to complete a read-a-thon. So that's kind of the thought process I have going into it. To start, I'll go over the 7 challenges. So challenge number 1 is to read a book with orange on the cover. Challenge number 2 is to read a book that has dark or spooky or taboo themes. Number 3 is to read a diverse contemporary. Number 4 is to read a book in a non-traditional format, and that can be whatever is non-traditional for you as a reader. Number 5 is to read a book that has your initials somewhere on the cover, and you can kind of interpret this in any way. Number 6 is to read a book from a new to me author. And number 7 is to read a 5-star prediction. So now let's talk about all of the books that I've picked. I'm not going to go through this in any specific order. I'll give a brief overview of each book and then which challenges it completes. Another reason that I really wanted to do this is I have a bunch of library books checked out right now that I need to return soon, and they mostly happen to be contemporary, so that's another bonus. So first up I have Afrocentric by Jules Smith and illustrated by, the sticker is covering it, illustrated by Ronald Nelson and Mike Hampton. So I randomly found this at the library, and I was just searching through graphic novels because I really want to get more into reading graphic novels, and this one sounds really amazing. It says that authors have created an unflinching visual and literary tour de force of the most pressing issues of the day, including gentrification, police violence, and a housing crisis, with humor and biting satire. It tackles racism, patriarchy, and popular culture head-on, unapologetic and unabashed. Afrocentric introduces us to strong yet vulnerable students of color, as well as an aesthetic that connects current Black pop culture to an organic reappropriation of hip-hop fashion circa the early 90s. So this is 4 volumes within the bind-up. This can count for challenge with orange on the cover. There's like lots of shades of orange on this. Also, it is diverse. It is non-traditional for me, and it's a new to me author. Continuing with the library books, I have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book is about a young woman named Emma who gets married pretty young to the love of her life, Jesse, and one day he goes on a helicopter ride on assignment. I don't know what he does. Oh, he's a production assistant on the sets of nature documentaries. Very cool. His helicopter goes missing and he's presumed dead. And then fast forward several years, Emma runs into an old friend named Sam. They fall in love, they get engaged, but then Jesse is found. So then Emma has to deal with all this, emotional turmoil over these 2 loves of her life and what's she going to do, and it sounds dramatic and incredible and lots of fun. So this one I'm stretching a little bit. It does have some of my initials on it. So my initials are EJG, and there's several E's, which is true of all of these books. J, there's no G on here. However, there is an M in author of Maybe in Another Life, and next year my initials will become EJM after I get married, so that's also that's a stretch. But this also counts for a 5-star prediction. Okay, another library book I have is Running with Lions by Julian Winters. This is the story of goalie Sebastian Hughes, who is in his senior year of high school and is getting pumped up for this soccer season when his estranged childhood best friend Amir moves to his hometown and joins the soccer team. They, I think, had a falling out or something, and so Sebastian decides for the sake of the team to try to rekindle their friendship, essentially, and it's a love story from there, and I think it's hate to love, enemies to lovers sort of thing, so I'm really pumped about that. And this one counts for, counts for a diverse book. It's a new to me author, and it does have my initials, so E in Winters, J in Julian, and G in Running. And then the one that I'm maybe most excited about and one that I will definitely read is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. If you haven't seen this around, you have not been on BookTube much lately, because this is getting so much hype, and some of my favorite booktubers and some of my best friends on here absolutely adore this, so I cannot wait to read it. This is a story of a young girl who is obsessed with a podcast and does fan art for it, something to that effect, and then meets the creator of the podcast, I think, and they develop a friendship, and there's all kinds of fantastic rep in this. I clearly do not know much about it, but with all the people who love it, I can't, there's no way I'm not gonna read this, you know what I mean? So this one is a diverse read. It's a new to me author, and it is definitely a 5-star prediction. Okay, and then some books that I own and have been wanting to read for a while. I have Paper Towns by John Green. I think this is the only John Green book that I haven't read. I'm not the biggest John Green fan, but overall I've really enjoyed his books, and I would like to complete the set and read the final book that I have left. This has something to do with a girl going missing, or she runs away and he decides to follow her because there are clues that she's left behind, something like that. But this is one that I feel like a lot of people really love. It was turned into a movie, and it's just one that I have had on my list for a very long time. So for this one, we've got E, J, and G in all my initials in John Green's name. It's maybe a 5-star prediction. I feel like I'll like this one, but I don't know. I think mostly this will count for the initials. This is on my 2018 bucket list, so I would like to read it, but it's not one that I'm dying to read right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, another very hyped author, The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This is Becky Albertalli's second book, and it follows, I think, the cousin of Abby from Simon. Is that her name? I think so. This is about a young girl named Molly, yes, who has had many crushes in her lifetime, all this unrequited love she's very familiar with, and it's sort of a love story with her and this new girl and her best friend and Molly's twin. There's maybe a love triangle. I'm very confused about all of the characters that are mentioned in the flap, but I've heard really great things about this, and I'm really excited to read it. So this counts as a diverse book, and this is a 5-star prediction for me. And then I have Girl Out of Water by Laura Silverman. I mentioned this in my NEWT's TBR. This is about a girl who grew up in California and loves to surf, and then her aunt gets into a very bad car accident, and so she has to go to Nebraska to help take care of her cousins. And there she meets a boy who teaches her how to skateboard. It's a love story, of course, and it sounds like a really good summery read. And summer is kind of getting away from us, and I can't imagine that I would want to read this in fall or winter, so I would like to read this one definitely soon. This one does have my initials on it, so E and G are both in the title, and then up here there's a quote from John Corey Whaley. It is also, I think, diverse. The boy only has one arm, and so there's some disability rep there. I know Laura Silverman is Jewish, and the release of this book coincided with a lot of really disgusting and bigoted hate against her as a Jewish woman, so I think that this counts for diverse in those two ways. And then it is a new to me author. And then one that I am so excited about, If you have been keeping up with my videos, then you know that the Cormoran Strike series by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling, is one of my favorite series of all time, and the 4th book comes out on Tuesday, and so that is definitely one that I will want to read right away. I don't know the plot, I know absolutely nothing about it. It follows the same detective and his assistant, and I know I'm gonna love it, and so that one will count for a dark or spooky topic, and it's a 5-star prediction for me. Okay, and then this is super exciting. Yesterday I was at the campus bookstore at the college that I work at, and I found The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon for $3. So naturally I picked it up, and I have had this on my TBR for ages. This is one that I just absolutely can't wait to read. This is about 2 characters, Daniel and Natasha, who both see themselves as very practical, and they don't, believe in fate or movements of the universe sort of thing, but they meet and then think that maybe that was wrong of them to assume or something. I don't know, it just sounds so sweet, and I've heard so many people love this book. This one counts for having orange on the cover, obviously. Also, this cover is one of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen. So orange on the cover. It is a diverse read. It is a new to me author and a 5-star prediction. So this one could count for a ton of different challenges. And then on my Kindle, I have More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. This is the last Adam Silvera book that I have left to read, and I have really, really loved the other 2. They both died at the end, and History Is All You Left Me. This is his first novel, and it sounds sad and maybe dark. It has to do with, I think, a young boy coming to terms with his sexuality, which is what the other 2 books are kind of about as well. It sounds really intense, but it sounds really, really good. This will also cross over with my TBR for Latinx-a-thon, which is hosted by some of my faves here on BookTube, so I'll have a TBR video up for that as well. So this one counts for maybe dark topic, diverse read, and 5-star prediction as well. And of course, I have another one because I go very overboard with TBRs. I have Crazy Rich Asians on audiobook on Scribd right now, so I will maybe listen to that while I'm driving. And if you don't know what Crazy Rich Asians is about, you have been living under a rock, because it's been everywhere lately, because the movie just came out. The movie's incredible, highly recommend. But that one would count for a diverse book, non-traditional format in audiobook, and new to me author, and 5-star prediction. So here's my absolutely ridiculous TBR stack, not including the ebooks or audiobooks that I've got, but I'm hoping this allows me to not feel like I am just backing myself into a corner and setting myself up for failure, because I feel like just one book per challenge has not been working for me. This is really heavy. But if you've read any of these books, if you are doing Contemporary-a-thon and you have any that you're super excited about, please let me know in the comments down below, or you can find the links to all of my social media accounts in the description box. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel so you know when my next video goes up. But until then, happy reading. Bye.